In Arakai, there are 6 major nations. Blaze, a land where the dragon clans reign and the fiery wizards scorch the earth. Primal, a place of great nature with giant beasts and shamans to maintain the balance, with other tribes lurking just beyond the tree line. Haven, singing angels and zealot priests call this home, with the overlording celestials ruling the domain. Astral, the outer worlds of space hold many mysteries. The legendary creatures of the stars and futuristic machines dot the starscape. Tidal, the leviathans of the deep devour any who dare step into the waters. Only their neighboring fish and shelled allies can share this space, alongside the secretive wizards and creatures of water. Abyss, the decayed, rotten lands of the abyss where those who are dead often refuse to stay that way, with powerful demons seeking domination over the rest of the world. This is the Arakai Nation Breakdown. So, here we are, the Blaze video. I guess this is where I'm supposed to say something witty. Anime protagonist. That's not a joke. Anyways, Blaze is probably the most basic and easy to pilot nation of the main 6 with minimal gimmicks or interesting playstyles compared to the others. So I guess we'll start with the ace monster of the anime protagonist, Sora McThundercock. Blade Dragon Nexus, a level 4 with 3 drawback and 11k power that simply gains 4,000 power for every ally in play, including itself. Yep, strap in folks, it doesn't get more complex than this. Jokes aside, Nexus is a fairly strong beater, but that's all he is. On a full board, he can be slapped down with 31k power, so he's comparable to something like Virion or Succubi, but that's about it. He gets more interesting later with the evolution mechanic, but for now there's not much to say other than he's a big beatstick. He even gets his own level 2 that searches him by discarding and expending, another garbage level 2 that gets big when he's on the field, and a fucking swift spell that gives him 5k and serious protection. But you don't really need any of those, even though you do play Nexus and Armored Dragon, so run by preference or wait till set 2. The true boss of Armored Dragon, at least in set 1, is Legion's Captain Shiza, and unlike Nexus, he's actually interesting. Despite his low 25k stat line, he's pretty damn good. Searching any level 4 or lower Armored Dragon when invoked for completely free, and gives your entire board of Armored Dragons 4k when you invoke another one once per turn. This guy is absolutely what the Armored Dragon deck is built around in set 1, and it's easy to see why. He turns your entire deck into a toolbox and gives a nice stat buff to everyone, unlike the fat, gluttonous Nexus who hogs all the power for himself. And he's just pretty cool. The other big Armored Dragon is Frosh Weapons Enthusiast, a level 4 that blows up a level 2 or lower restrained ally when invoked. Despite the low stat line, he's pretty darn good and fairly generic, so go ahead and splash him or play him pure. Next up, we have Selfless Elite, an 18k level 3 that can commit Sudoku to protect your other allies from being blown up by a card effect. This can be nice to dodge a straight clear destruction, but his expanded cost makes him questionable to play it any more than one, considering he's searchable by Shiza. And the other level 3 Armored Dragon is... what? That can't be right. Let me check my notes here. A big fucking vanilla. Seriously, there's no other level 3s. Despite this, you do absolutely run 3 of this fucker as your only other options are fucking nothing, so take your vanilla and get out of my sight. Now where Armored Dragon really shines is its level 1 and level 2 pool, which I'd argue is actually one of the best in the game. Drakonic Shock Trooper boosts himself to 18k power during your attack phase only, Drakonic Rider gives himself 7k power when you invoke another ally, and Drakonic Charge Leader lets you return any level 3 or lower Armored Dragon to your hand. Essentially, lets you save your guys from destruction, so you max out on all 3 of these because they're all pretty darn good. The level 1s are also very nice. Tavern's Head Weakdown lets you draw a card when you invoke another Armored Dragon, Shield Wyvern can stack itself to blow up a level 2 or lower ally when it's attacking, and Kalma lets you check the top 7 cards of your deck for an Armored Dragon aura, in the form of Advance the Infantry, which lets you add the top card of your deck to your hand once per turn when you play your second Armored Dragon, provided that card is an Armored Dragon, and El Harani, which lets you discard an Armored Dragon when you play your second one to draw an Unexpended Spirit. These are both very good spells and great targets for Kalma. The last Armored Dragon spell, United We Stand, simply gains 1 life on Expensive Spirit and draws 1 card based on the number of Armored Dragons you control, making it a powerful spell for your deck. The final level 1 armored dragon... Wait a minute. That's not a dragon. That's a fucking lolly. Jokes aside, Mina Deer Extraordinaire is absolutely staple in dedicated pure armored dragon decks, as when she's invoked you can check the top cards of your deck equal to your Blaze allies and add any Blaze card among them to your hand. Good stat line, +1, and only 1 expend? You play 3. Our real final armored dragon worth talking about is a level 0? Yeah, Dragon Foot Soldier is just a level 0 vanilla with 5,000 attack. He's useful for resolving Cheese's stat boost on turn 5 and is a card you play by choice. Overall, Armored Dragon is a deck focusing on its low-level dudes, and they're very strong and have some nice toolbots in with Shiza, and occasionally has Nexus and Vrosh to help out for various issues. But they aren't the only dragons in the mountains. Next we have Incinerator of the Innocent Igneal at 27k level 5, that when invoked blows up restrained allies whose total levels equal 3 or less. This guy is the more generic Blaze boss if you choose to play one, as his removal means he can easily deal +1 or even 2 on summon reliably, and his stat means he can run over all the weaker level 5s. Supporting him we have Heritage Shaman Yermo, who when invoked you can reveal a Dragon Lord in your hand to unexpend 1 and gain a life, Androdonic Burst, a nice removal spell that destroys a level 2 or more restrained ally and does it for free if you have a Dragon Lord on hand or in your field. But just one Igneal isn't enough wards for your cards, right? Well, the only other Dragon Lords in the set are Blacksteel Dragon and Dragon Spawn, 2 more fucking vanillas. So if you're playing a dedicated Dragon Lord engine, you have to play at least one of these 2 vanillas to trigger your support effectively. Typically just a place of Spawn, as there's no reason to brick on Blacksteel if you're playing the superior Igneal. There's also Dragon Hatchling, but his home is more useful in Abyss Sack decks than in his Dragon form. The final set of cards to talk about are the Fire set of cards. Remember Draconic Burst? Yeah, that's a fire spell, but there are 3 others. Rose destroys any level 1 ally in play, provided you don't attack directly for the rest of the turn. Temple Trap expends 1 to destroy allies whose total levels are 2 or less for the same restriction. And finally, Penultimate Casting is a convoluted-ass aura that reduces an ally's level by 1 until end of turn, so your fire spells can blow them up easier, and lets you once per turn discard any Blaze spell to recycle a fire spell from Lost. These spells have their own dedicated wizard support in the form of a trio. Dragon Lord's Pyromancer lets you check the top 5 of your deck for a fire spell and add it to hand. Master of the Inferno draws a card when you play a fire spell and randomly floodgates all healing effects. And Jade Arts takes 1 damage and recycles any fire spell for absolutely free. These 3 allies are staple 3-ofs in dedicated fire decks or splashes, and makes the spells absolutely capable of blowing up several large allies, and even has synergy with Title's Constricting Kraken by letting him restrain level 4s, and Igneal being able to blow up level 4 allies himself. Just a few cards to wrap up here. Charged Elemental is a good level 2 that can sack himself to destroy any level 2 or lower ally in play. Grismo is just a dude who discards to draw 1. And Draconic Warcry and Flaming Inheritance give your cards good stat boosts that either help you clear boards or give you a solid combat trick respectively. My closing thoughts on Blaze are that it's a very simple and straightforward deck with very few exceptions in the auras that are ultimately just easy to understand. If you're new to the game, you can't go wrong with playing a pure Blaze deck. Dragon Lords are a nice engine to splash into many other decks, and Fire is an interesting subclass that will get some more support in the future to flesh them out, both in giving them more identity. And if it feels like this video is rushed, it's because there's just not a lot to talk about. Nothing overly complicated or technical exists here, so there isn't much that can't be summarized by either generates advantage, gains attack, or pops a card. But, to be honest, that's kind of okay. Not everything needs a weird gimmick or a unique playstyle, and you could argue simple in and of itself is Blaze's identity, and considering the final nation we have to talk about in the series is the most complicated of them all, I should count myself lucky, as Astro's exile mechanic and subclasses have a lot of explaining that will likely make it the longest videos in the series. Until then, I wish you all a good day, and try not to get burned.